Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Untitled Reviews. Now, with their latest mouse, the Viper 8kHz, Razer looked to be trying to kickstart a polling rate battle, as opposed to the DPI battles that have long raged on in the gaming mouse world for many years. It brings with it the landmark development of an 8000Hz polling rate, some 8 times more than your traditional gaming mouse. And with that and its 20,000 DPI Focus Plus sensor and the fact it's ambidextrous, it might just be one of the most complete packages for the more professional gamers out there today. Now, inside the box, it's a simple case of getting inside Razer's sustainable packaging the Viper 8kHz mouse itself, complete with a little travel pouch and some associated manuals and other documentation. Now, onto the design of the Viper 8kHz, arguably one of the most integral points of whether you should buy any mouse or not. Now, in all due seriousness, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a mouse that is more comfortable to use than the Viper 8kHz, majorly thanks to its ambidextrous design, a truly ambidextrous design. Some mice make use of a symmetrical design that are purely right-handed because they've only got buttons on the one side, but as you can see, there's buttons on the left and on the right, so the Viper 8kHz can be used by right and left-handers alike. So finally, my prayers have been answered. This comfortable nature is also reinforced by its rather contoured shape and rather nice palm grip, and also these rubber side grips on the side that also give the Viper 8kHz this kind of rather premium feel, as reinforced by its all-black kind of matted construction. Also, this is thanks to a 71-gram weight, which is rather light for a mouse, and it's almost kind of at the bottom end of a while. I'm usually somebody that likes a slightly heavier mouse, but 71 grams means that this mouse has this rather unparalleled ability to glide across any surface, basically. It really does offer you a great performance benefit if you have a mouse that light. The buttons, as present, feel rather nice and firm, and the placement is largely sensible. And to be honest, as I say, that one major selling point is the fact it's truly ambidextrous. I do have one slight issue with button placement. While the buttons on the side and stuff are absolutely marvellous and do make it certainly brilliant, there is a small problem. There's a button on the bottom here, this button at the bottom right next to this PTFE pad that I'll come on to in a second. That's the button to change the DPI. Now, it would have made a little bit more sense to maybe put the DPI button on the top. There is a notable absence just below the scroll wheel there, before the kind of join of the two mouse buttons, if you like. That's where you usually put a DPI switch, and Razer have on pretty much most of their other mice in their current range put the DPI switch there. So to kind of make it so you have to, if you want to scroll through the DPI, to kind of make it so right out the box anyway that you have to turn the mouse over and switch through the ones that you want, does make, I do question that decision a little bit. But as I say to you, it also would have been nice, for one thing, whilst the Viper 8kHz is probably one of the most comfortable mice I've ever used, to see the ability to make the mouse either wider or heavier with some physical customization options, like additional side pods like you get with Mad Cat's mice and some of Logitech's as well, and also some weights. Logitech do notably provide weights with their G502, be it a wired or wireless variant. So to make this the complete esports ready package, the Viper 8kHz could have made use of some of those. But then again, for a mouse that's designed with esports gaming in mind, it's probably no real surprise that, as I say, the ability that this mouse has to glide across any given surface, thanks to these 100% PTFE feet on the bottom, it's largely unparalleled. And this is also helped along by the fact that it makes use of Razer's now renowned SpeedFlex cables that they're even including on wireless mice. So if you want to make those wireless mice wired, you now have the ability to glide as if it were wireless as well. Now, for a mouse that I'm probably going to come to coin on the thumbnail as being the ultimate esports package, it's probably little surprise given the feature set and that this Viper 8kHz has that makes it one of the most powerful mice on the market. You'll be hard-pressed to find a mouse, despite the fact that this does come in at a slightly more pocket-friendly price of $79.99. You're going to be hard-pressed to find a mouse that equals this feature set, largely helped along by that 8000Hz polling rate and the 20,000 DPI Focus Plus sensor that Razer have been using on their premium mice for probably about a year and a half, maybe a little bit longer. What that combo means is that it makes sure that you're always ahead of the competition. Once you use the Viper 8kHz in a couple of games of Counter-Strike or other classic esports titles, and then go back to 1000Hz polling rate mouse, as long as you're on a high refresh rate monitor, say 144 Hz or more, you won't really go back. The performance difference is actually stark. As I say, the Viper 8 kHz is designed to be used with the best equipment out there, given the fact it's designed for the pros. You should be able to feel the difference if you've got a rather high refresh rate monitor. And what that high polling rate does is what Razer are doing is that it kind of future-proofs you, if you like. Sometimes people end up with hardware bottlenecks because their mouse is maybe holding them up a little bit by comparison to everything else in their system being absolutely perfect. And with that 8,000 Hz polling rate, what Razer are ensuring is that it's never going to be the peripheral side of things where you're getting that bottleneck. And as this is a mouse built with speed and power in mind, it's probably no surprise that the Viper 8 kHz makes use of Razer's second generation optical switches. Now what these are, fundamentally they work at the speed of light, and what it means is that they should be faster than your more traditional mechanical switch. And even though it might be an incremental increase to us normal people out there, to the pros, those small little increases can make all the difference. Now, just as a small aside here, you're probably sitting there going, what the hell's polling rate? I mean, you see these zany measurements. Razer have got an 8,000. There are other mice with 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 or whatnot. It's one of those things that that's quite difficult to understand if you don't know what the term means. Certainly polling is quite an odd term. But what it essentially means, and the long and short of it, is that the polling rate of a mouse is how often the mouse reports its position to the computer. If you take the fact that frequency is measured in hertz, there you go. And really, the higher the rate, the more times that the mouse will report back to the PC. And so given the fact the Viper 8 kHz features this 8,000 Hz polling rate, what that means is that there's not going to be as much kind of clunky movement of the cursor, if you will. And what this means is that whilst you're gliding across any particular surface rather well thanks to its 71 gram weight and 100% PTFE feet, that's also going to translate on screen as this mouse will be consistently reporting back to your PC. Also, another small little thing that the Viper 8 kHz does rather well is the fact that it runs on a purely wired connection. As you can see, there's a rather nice braided cable that stretches out from the mouse's head, if you like. What that means is that there's absolutely no latency issues. And to some esports gamers, having a wireless mouse can offer some latency and may offer them a slight performance decrease. So having an entirely and purely wired connection means the Viper 8 kHz be causing any problems in those high intensity battles. On the lighting side of affairs for the Viper 8 kHz, Razer have once again opted for something suave, classy and simple. The Viper 8 kHz operates with only one lighting zone, the Razer logo, that you can see rolling around in a colour spectrum, in all the colours of the rainbow, as this particular piece goes on. And even though it's only got the one zone, the chroma lighting still remains as bright and sharp as it always has done, and Razer once again continue to cement themselves as the kings of keyboard and mouse lighting once again. Now, what the chroma system also does when you pair it with Synapse 3, as you'll see in the next section, is that you can connect it to a vast amount of other devices, including the Philips Hue lighting system. And what this means is that your RGB kingdom that you build isn't just confined to your office. If you want to rig up those Philips lights across your house and control them from your PC in the same way that you control your keyboard and mouse, now you actually can. For those RGB junkies that like a whole load of zones to control, the Viper 8 kHz might not be for you. But for someone who likes and I'm someone who rather likes quite a simple RGB setup. I'm never somebody who's been liking those kind of garish lights. What the Viper 8 kHz does is offer something a little bit more back to basics and is ideal for people who just want some lights. Now, given that Razer's Viper 8 kHz is probably one of the most tricked out gaming mice on the market today thanks to its 20,000 dpi resolution and its 8,000 Hz polling rate, it's probably no surprise that Razer have also done their best on the software side of things to give you some of the best gaming experiences possible right now. Now, this marriage between Synapse allows you to do all sorts of things, such as your classic things, such as fiddling with all the mouse buttons, with everything from changing keyboard functions, looking through things between devices, launching programs, and also using Hypershift to unlock that other form of compatibility. As this is also an ambidextrous mouse, there's the option to make it exclusively right or left-handed and swap all the buttons over to the other side. So finally, us lefties' prayers have been answered, and we've now got a gaming mouse to stand up to all those marvellous right-handed people. There's also the options to fiddle with the sensitivity, so your DPI of the mouse, right through from everything from 100 to 20,000 in 5 different stages. You'll notice that currently I'm running stage 4 at 3,200, which is a prime office mouse territory, although if you want to go all the way up to 20,000, then you can as well. As you can see here, we've just got on 20,000, so you can see how crazy sensitive that is by comparison to 3,200. The big thing with the Viper 8 kilohertz, of course, as you've heard me mention before, is its 8,000 hertz polling rate, although if you do fancy going down to something a little bit lighter, so anything from 500, 1,000 through to 2,000, then you can as well. And there's also a nice little shortcut to the Windows mouse properties as well. Now, another part of the Viper 8 kilohertz is the fact that it makes use of Razer's chroma lighting. And of course, as with any of these Razer's other premium mouse options, there's the option to do everything from fiddling with the brightness to making use of their fantastic lighting presets, as well as, if you've got the time, to utilize Chroma Studio to make sure your lighting is just right as well. Or if you want it off completely, there's options to say how and when that gets switched off. So either when your display gets turned off, or if you're idle for any time from 1 to 15 minutes. Now, another intriguing thing that the Viper 8 kilohertz and Synapse 3 allows you to do is to calibrate the surface that you're using on. So if you've got a specific mouse mat, like my Razer Sphex V2, for instance, then you can calibrate the Viper 8 kilohertz to make use of all the available space. Or if you've got, if you want to do things manually, there's options to do that as well. Or if you just want the mouse to work it out for you, then you can use Razer's smart tracking in order to do so. And it's definitely fair to say that this integration with Synapse 3 does make the Viper 8 kilohertz one of the most complete packages on the market today. So, in conclusion then, is Razer's Viper 8 kilohertz worth a pickup? Well, if you're somebody who just wants a mouse with absolutely raw power, the Viper 8 kilohertz is ideal for you, with its 8,000 hertz polling rate, 20,000 DPI sensor, and that light 71 gram weight. You won't find many mice that offer a more complete gaming experience than this. Going along with this, if you're somebody who's got a high refresh rate monitor, or you're somebody that's more of a dedicated gamer, then the Viper 8 kilohertz will offer you those incremental performance increases that should help to change your game. Also, if you're somebody that's got a little bit of money to burn and you want something with a rather simple RGB setup, given the fact that the Viper 8 kilohertz only has one lighting zone, is ideal for you minimalists out there. However, if you're somebody who wants a little bit more cosmetic customization with some more weights and some other side pods that can help to make this either a purely right-handed or left-handed mouse, also to make it a little bit wider if you've got larger hands, then there's other mice out there from the likes of Logitech and Mad Catz, such as their Rat DWS, that's a little bit more expensive, but is also wired. They might be just more required to your taste. Also, if you're the Rat DWS actually leads me on to this next point. If you're looking for something that offers you a little bit more freedom, as the Viper 8 kilohertz is a purely wired mouse, it's not going to be a mouse designed for those people who either want no cables on their desk at all or just want something wireless. There are plenty of other wireless mice out there on the market at a roughly similar price to this. Rockat's Kane 200 AIMO springs to mind that we featured on this channel a couple of years ago. It's a really nice bit of kit. Actually, and is good for all you wireless fans out there. Also, even with that $79.99 price tag that does seem a little bit more pocket friendly, as I've said previously, Raber's Viper 8 kilohertz isn't designed for either the casual gamer or or those on a tight budget, as it actually states on the box as it's designed as an esports gaming mouse. There's plenty of other mice out there for probably half the price of this, and maybe a little bit less, that will offer the feature set that will do what you want. for that price. But for those more competitive gamers and for those people that are really looking to take their gaming experience to the next level, the Viper 8 kHz gets a great big thumbs up from me. And all I've really got to say is that if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. To follow us on Twitter and Instagram, links will be appearing on the screen roughly about now. And also to check out the blog in the description as well. There should be a myriad of articles over there that you should hopefully find interesting and engaging. Also, another aside is that there's now a Teespring store where you can pick up some marvellous Untitled merch, be it if you're looking for t-shirts, mugs, sweatshirts, hoodies, wall art and whatnot. There's all the stuff down there, and Teespring do ship worldwide, which is absolutely marvellous. And also, if you like any of the kit that we feature in these videos, be it this marvellous Razer Viper 8 kHz that you can currently pick up on Amazon for £52 actually, which is a little bit less than the $79.99 retail price, and any of the other keyboards, mice, headsets and microphones that we featured on this channel over the last few months, then there'll be Amazon links down in the description where you can pick them up. So thank you very much for watching.